It's finally beautiful in New York City.
I was going to say, you know what today was?
What?
Beautiful.
Oh, it was beautiful.
It was so nice. It was beautiful. This is our second of our 5 or 6 allotted nice springtime days.
You're correct.
We only have a few left. We have to really enjoy them and love them. And I spent all day prepping for this recording, so I missed it. But hey, it's here. I hope everyone had a lovely, beautiful day.
Beautiful. Hi, Julian Benzavali.
Hey, Patrick Hines.
Hey, fam. I want to give you just some things to put on your calendar. If you're on the Patreon, we got some really cool things coming up. So in just a couple of days, on April 27th at 7 o'clock is our next drag bingo with the amazing Schwa.
Yes, Schwa.
And then on Monday, May 6th, we're doing another mixology class with the amazing Cam.
Oh, right.
It was the first live Patreon cool event that we had done in a long time. She makes cocktails based on our documentaries.
Yeah.
There might or might not be a colloidal silver margarita on the menu from the Cult of Mother God.
I think she just makes them in her infinite wisdom, and I mean that usually when I say, infinite wisdom, I'm talking about like Michael Barnett, but Cam's amazing.
She's incredible.
So they handle it completely.
And we do it all over Zoom. Anybody at the $5 level or above is welcome to join. We hang out, we talk, we drink. It's like just such a fun time.
It's very fun.
Join the Patreon. You can also get over 450 full ad-free bonus episodes.
At least. It's got to be at least at this point.
So much stuff. Patreon.com/truecrimeobsessed, or just go to our website, click on the Patreon link. Girl, what are we talking about today?
All right. Hi, everyone. This is one of our bonus episodes that we throw at you every once in a while.
Yes.
This is an episode of 2020. It's called This Is Revenge. You can find it on Hulu.
This is a huge whodunit.
Who came into Dr. Joseph Sanye's house, shot him, and knifed him?
We were dealing with something that was a hit.
We started racking our brains. Well, it's got to be some type of girlfriend situation.
A stalker.
There was this big, creepy-looking guy sitting there, and he was staring at the door like he was looking for someone or watching someone.
A confession, a payoff, and a courthouse twist that nobody saw coming.
Everybody is stunned. Stunned.
It was devastating. I mean, I had a moment of just silence. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't think.
You can't make this stuff up. And that's one of the fascinating things about this.
This whole thing is nothing but darkness and evil.
This is the oldest story in the book. This is vengeance. This is pride. This is revenge.
This is crazy.
It's wild.
This is a really crazy story. It opens, the first words of the episode are, today in Lubbock, Texas, temps that will dip into the upper 70s and lower 80s, to which I said, why would anybody live anywhere else?
Welcome to Texas.
Like, oh my God. And I know, like, I'm sure it's sweltering in the summer.
But they say, like, much cooler temps today. We're in the low 80s.
I know. I also want to know,
we are in Texas.
because Natalie Maines is from there. Like, tell me they named the high school after her at this point.
Lubbock or leave it. The chicks hate Lubbock, Texas.
I know, but I love the chicks.
Yeah.
That's all.
They just didn't have a good if you're from Lubbock and you love it,
yes.
Great.
My friend Melissa lives in Lubbock.
Then does she love it?
I think so.
Okay, great.
You know what? She's got a friend. You know what her friend's name is? Kim Basinger.
Oh my God, can I tell you something?
Please.
Wait, what is that like for her?
I don't know.
Friend?
I've never met the other Kim Basinger. I don't know, but her name is Kim Basinger.
That is, how old is this person? May
like
I ask?
40s.
Okay. Can I tell you something?
Yeah.
I meant to tell you this. Okay. So we were just talking about Jeopardy.
Uh-huh.
So I don't know why, but it's been helping me go to sleep. So I have there's an app where you can watch like TV for free, but with ads. I don't know what it is, but there's like a Jeopardy channel. So to help me go to sleep with my like rain sounds or whatever, I've been watching Jeopardy. The Jeopardy teen tournament was on last night, whatever.
Okay.
There is someone where it's like, name number 1, name number 2. Guess what this teenage girl's name was. Same spelling, I swear to God.
Like Cindy Crawford.
Tori Amos.
No way.
And they didn't ask her about it in the little like stop and chat that he does for like 2 seconds because Alex Trebek was there, and they talked about how she won some other genius kid trivia thing happened to be led by someone who was also on Jeopardy. But I wonder if she was like, please don't mention it. My mom loves Tori Amos. I'm sick of talking about it. But her name, she's like a teenager.
Totally. That's wild.
Tori Amos.
Oh my God.
Amos, whatever.
Yeah.
An icon, a legend, not unlike Kim Basinger.
Her name is Kim Basinger. She was it's wild.
Unbelievable.
Anyway, this is a sad start to the story. We learn that the landscapers are at a house that they usually go to.
The landscapers start their usual routine at a doctor's house, but they're starting to think something's off.
Somebody has broken a window. Oh no! God.
Ma'am, what's going on?
Dr. Joseph Sanye's body is in the garage. His murder's truly brutal. Shot and stabbed 11 times.
So the 911 call is that Dr. Sonnier did not show up to work today.
Yes.
And there's a broken window, and his body is found in the garage. He was shot and stabbed 11 times. There's a bullet still on the ground in the garage. And so Detective Zach Johnson is here. And at first he thought it was a robbery gone bad, but then he looks around and he's like, right, but nothing was taken.
Right, because it's a very fancy, wealthy neighborhood. So, like, that's the kind of crime you would see there. But, like, this looks much more... He's saying that, like, the guy's got expensive art, iPads, electronics, and he said it was an in-and-out job. Like, this was a targeted hit.
And something very terrifying is near the gun casings, there is a Gatorade bottle that was used as an amateur silencer.
Like a Gatorade bottle?
And we'll come back to that. It becomes very, very important.
Also, like, it's just, like, to show that the crime scene, like, whoever the killer was, like, came upon Dr. Sonnier unexpectedly. There's an overturned chair. There's glass on the floor. Like it was contained to this one room.
Yeah.
You know, and then out into the garage.
Matt Murphy is here. He's a prosecutor. We've met him before.
Yes.
He's been in a few 2020s. And he says, like, this is not a robbery at all. Like, someone came here specifically to kill Dr. Sonnier.
Yeah. Yeah, and they're like, but why? Like, this guy's a doctor. He's a respected member of the community. Like, who would want this guy dead?
And there's also some tragedy in Dr. Sonnier's life. So he's very wealthy, but he has 3 grown sons. And his wife, Becky Gallegos, was murdered 2 years ago. So this happened, the murder of Dr. Sonnier happened the day before the 2-year anniversary of Becky's murder.
Can we talk about this for a second?
It's crazy.
We are going to learn, they tell us pretty quickly it's not part of the mystery. The murders are not connected.
They're not.
But like the grown sons are here and they're like...
I got the call the day before the 2-year anniversary of my mother's death. I thought maybe it had something to do with her death. That's how out of left field and completely out of nowhere this was.
He assumed because it was the day before the 2-year anniversary of the murder of his mother that it's related to his mother.
Right.
Like how could it not be? And he describes that phone call and it's just unbelievable.
And he also says, like, as soon as he learned that his dad was killed, he said, I knew how to plan a funeral. I knew how to scrub blood off the floor. I knew how to do everything we had to do because we had done it once before.
I mean, it's ridiculous. And they were just planning, again, just the emotion. They were just planning on having a memorial or just sort of go through that time again because it was coming up on the anniversary of his mother's murder 2 years ago. Like, that's where his mind was. And now to have to deal with it again is just unbelievable. It's heartbreaking.
I can't explain it. I only know one other person who knows somebody who was murdered. And I remember talking to her and her saying, like, you just never expect that you're going to know somebody who's murdered. These kids have 2 parents that were both murdered. Like, it must have been an unfathomable experience.
The statistical likelihood, like, doesn't even exist almost.
And, like, the point that you made, so close to the same date, like, one day apart.
Right. So it's just the mind F of it. It just makes no wait a second. I'm mourning my mom. I'm celebrating her life today because it was 2 years ago. So, but you're telling me my
dad's been murdered now too.
Oh my God.
I know.
We learn a little bit about Lubbock. It's in the middle of ranching country. They say gorgeous fields with wide open skies. And I'm like, I think you mean wide open spaces. Lubbock or leave it, everybody.
Yes.
But Dr. Sonnier is super well known.
He's a well-known doctor, a multimillionaire, a businessman. He loves to travel and has an expansive wine collection.
This guy works hard. He enjoys the finer things in life.
And he's also kind of a square. Which is
a little bit, because it's sweet. Like, his first name is Joseph. So Joseph met his wife, Becky, in high school, and they were high school sweethearts. And after 27 years, Becky has decided to leave Joseph. Becky is the other murder victim here.
Yeah, but from like 2 years
before.
ago.
So she's fallen in love with someone else, and Joseph is shocked. Now, we learn quickly about Becky here, and we did some side googling. Becky is murdered by her new husband.
So that's the only thing that's in the documentary. They don't really give us much other information, so we looked it up.
So yeah, she was going to leave him. They were both in their 50s. She was going to leave him.
After only 2 years of marriage.
Yeah, and as we learned, it is very difficult for that to happen. It's the most dangerous time to leave a bad relationship. The husband, sorry everyone, kills her, kills the dog, calls 911 to say what had happened, and while while he's on the phone with 911, he turns the gun on himself. And I guess the reason we're not getting into it is because it's not a mystery very much. We know exactly. It's tragic and awful, but it's very clear what happened. Like, he was on the phone with 911. It's a horrible thing, and it's just tragic that Becky couldn't get out of there.
I just cannot wrap my mind around it.
Yeah.
You know? But, like, you know, Dallas's son is here, and, like, the divorce from the mom was really hard for the dad. Like, he's saying she was the only one he ever loved. When they got a divorce, it was a total shock to him. Everything he'd worked for in his life evaporated in 1 second. And I was kind of like, okay, but, like, we know that she's allowed to leave him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was like, I just wanted, like, felt a little victim blamey there for just a second. I was like, but she's, like, allowed to move on with her life.
Of course.
Yeah.
But the point is, Joseph is 48 years old and dating for the first time.
Starting over.
And his sister Missy's like, you're sweet and you're rich and you're a pillar of the community. You're going to be great.
They say he has disposable income in an empty house. And she's like, he was bald and he was really self-conscious about it. And she's like, women don't care about that.
They don't care. So on a whim, Joseph starts taking ballroom dancing lessons, and it is like shooting fish in a barrel.
I know.
He's dating these fantastic, beautiful women. Dallas is like, he got his mojo back like that. And Dallas is like, I gotta say, my dad had good taste.
He started to meet beautiful single women, attractive women who were also, you know, in his age range. And he got the mojo back like that.
So how did you feel about the women that he dated?
The truth is, we liked most of them.
Joseph kind of learned, like, I can get back out there, and this dancing thing is helping, and he was just sort of like, you know, a guy about town.
Current 48 is not our parents' 48. Like, these people look incredible. Like, Dr. Joseph, he looks incredible. The women that he's meeting all look incredible.
It's a great place to meet people, you know?
Yeah. Ballroom dance. And the nerve to go to a ballroom dancing class solo.
I wonder if it was a singles dance class, which they should be having. Like, that's a great place to meet people.
That's a great idea.
And it's a great way to sort of
I don't know, the intimacy of, like, you have to hold your partner and stuff. Like, now I'm getting a little, I don't know.
It's weird. But if I'd be like, I don't want that person to be my partner.
Well, but right. And that's my fear, is that, like, I'd be the one that everyone's like, yeah, anybody but him, though.
And if you know it's like, oh, I'm here to meet someone. Like, no, I'm here to dance.
Right.
I'll let you know if I'm open for business.
It's
right now.
I will let you know if I'm open for business.
I'm not open for business.
But it's like an interesting thing. Like, go take a paint and wine class, or like, because if you're doing a dance class, like, you have to touch somebody.
Yeah.
That's an intimate thing.
It is. It's very intimate.
I will let you know if I'm open for business.
Until then, don't worry about it.
Yeah, until then, closed for business.
It's close.
You know, officially.
Keep walking. So I have that little thing, be back in. No. I don't know when I'll be back. I don't know.
You know what? I don't know when I'll be back.
I don't know.
Exactly.
So that little clock, be back in.
Yeah.
I don't know.
We
be back? Question mark. So one of the women he meets is Rochelle Shatina.
Yes.
And she's a divorced single mother. She has 4 grown boys of her own. He has 3 grown boys.
Yeah.
Now, Joseph's kids don't live in Lubbock anymore. They left it. Lubbock or leave it out. That's the last time I'm going to say.
I know. It's a great song, by the way.
Great.
It's such a good song.
But the thing is,
Dallas and his brothers don't live in Lubbock anymore, but every fall they come back for a family tradition. One of those giant tailgate feasts at a Texas Tech football game.
What do any of those words mean?
It's a big football thing. Just watch Friday Night Lights. You'll get it.
Tailgating is like the drinking part, right?
That's what happens before people start at like 10 in the morning, and then the game is like, and it's a lot of sports have tailgating. It doesn't really matter.
People love their sports.
They love the tailgating.
Why aren't we tailgating for Broadway shows? Like, why aren't we out in front of the theater?
Are you not?
Well, but I mean, could we get there at 8 in the morning and just start drinking and making barbecue in front of the St. James?
If you're going to a matinee and you're not going to brunch before, I can't help you. The options are right
but
there.
I want to tailgate on 44th Street. You know what I mean?
No, you don't.
No, you're right.
You think, no, you don't.
Yeah. No, I guess not.
You want to tailgate in the restaurant.
Yeah, at the Glass House Tavern right
with
next
the
door.
delicious food.
You know what? I stand great.
Do you know
what? Officially open for business over here.
Okay, great. See, it's nice to decide.
It is.
Now, at this big tailgate at Texas Tech, Joseph brings Rochelle. It's their first date. It's a major tailgate with all the kids, and I'm like, trial by fire, Rochelle.
I know.
That's pretty big for a first date.
It's funny. I was like, everyone's like, oh, Rochelle, were you nervous? And she's like, no, it was just a first date. I've got Rochelle energy.
Rochelle is like, I'm a catch. It's gonna go as well as I want it to go.
Yeah.
I'm not worried about me or anything else.
It's like when one catch meets another is like what was going on here.
It went very well. She wasn't worried at all.
No.
She doesn't know why you're worried. It's weirding her out.
And the kids were very impressed. They were like, you know what? She was kind of great. Like, she was not nervous, and she was like, knew how to be cool, and everybody's having a good time.
She was into it.
Yeah.
And then like a few months later,
Rochelle and Dr. Saunier traveled to California to visit Dr. Saunier's grandchildren. And that seemed to make her very happy.
Where's your head?
We had a great time. She came over to the house. We played with my kids. It couldn't have gone better.
That could not have gone better. It is.
You hear Dallas saying, like, she was playing with my kids. It was great. It was all fine. We see video of it. Everyone seems like they're having a good time.
Super happy.
Yeah.
Rochelle's here, by the way. I'm like, oh, hey, girl.
You know what? When we saw Rochelle, I was like, oh my God, she's not the killer. Like, I
didn't know where this was going.
Me either. Because they oftentimes do that thing where, like, at the end, they pull out and she's wearing an orange jumpsuit.
Right.
You know
I didn't know what was going on.
You never really, like, they pull out and you see the guard standing behind her and she's handcuffed to the chair.
Or if you just see, like, indistinct, like, gray walls behind them.
Yeah.
With no
what's
framed photos or, like, curtains.
They fuck you on that one
through.
time and you never trust it again.
I'll never forget it.
Let it go.
So Rochelle's like, I super loved him. Marriage would not have been out of the question, but
yes,
I never pressured him. We never even talked about it. And we slowed down on this a lot.
Well, she's being very defensive here. And maybe it's because the interviewer was like, were you expecting him to marry you or whatever?
I'm like, don't worry about it.
She will let us know when she is open for business.
So they take this big trip to Paris. So it's Rochelle's 50th birthday.
Yeah.
And they do this really romantic trip. They do that thing with the locks on the bridge.
I know.
That big Paris
Rochelle's
romance.
like, I was over the moon. It was a dream come true. And I have this, and I'm like, it's just Paris. Like, no, Paris is beautiful. I love Paris. But like some of the restaurants are so old that you go to use the bathroom and there's just a hole in the floor. That's not a joke.
That's bullshit.
Nope. I've seen it with my own eyes. I've seen it with my own eyes.
Okay. Do you wash your hands? What's going on with that?
Is there running water in this restaurant?
Well,
I'm
you
telling
just told me there was a hole in the ground.
I know. You didn't believe me. You
I didn't believe
said, that's bullshit. No, there are definitely restaurants I've been to in Paris where there is a hole in the ground.
Okay. If you can install like an oven and shit to make or a stove.
No, I'm with you. I really wish there was a toilet. I think there should be a toilet.
Yeah. But I am, the older the building, the better.
I agree.
Love that shit.
Yeah,
And don't fuck with it. I don't want to see a light switch. Like, don't give me like too many modern things, but like not a hole in the ground would be nice.
Not a hole in the ground.
If we have running water, do you know what I'm saying?
I couldn't agree more.
Because you have to extra wash your hands in a bathroom.
I know. Well, you turn around and walk. You don't actually use the bathroom. And you're like, I don't have to go that bad. I will wait.
No.
Yeah.
I'll go next door.
Yeah. Yes. The other thing that Rochelle says is that they do that thing at that, like you were saying, the bridge with the lock where you write your name on it.
Yeah.
But then you throw your key into the river. That doesn't seem good for the fish.
Oh, is that what you do?
Yeah. She said you throw the key into the river and it's supposed to like cement your love forever.
Oh.
I would write my initials on a lock with you.
Oh, that's really sweet.
I really would.
What can we do with the key?
We will keep the key.
Okay.
Yeah, and we'll come back and we'll give it to Daisy. She loves keys.
She'll lose it in a heartbeat.
But we
which is
don't need it anymore.
the point
That's the point.
Right, then throwing it, I won't interrupt the fish.
Yeah.
It's their living room.
Honest
not mine.
Don't throw that into the river. That's not nice.
No, I don't. Right? It can't be nice.
Yeah. Anyway, Paris is great.
Okay. Few weeks after this amazing romantic trip, everything's going well. The families are getting along. That's when Joseph Saunier is murdered. And they, of course, question Rochelle because, as we've learned, you start close, you work your way out.
Yeah. Can you imagine? I think about this. Look, when I first met Steve and I knew he was the one, I could only imagine him dying. You know what I mean?
Were you my mother?
Sometimes.
Just going right to like, any tragedy or...
Wait, you looked at me. Wait, that doesn't happen to you? Like if something great is about to happen, like you don't just imagine all the ways it could go wrong.
Disaster? 100%.
Yeah.
100. I am Roger and or Mimi. I should tell you I'm disaster.
Exactly.
Like I don't know where to begin.
No, and so like I was just thinking, like I remember thinking like something terrible is going to happen to this amazing man.
Of
that I
course,
just
you're
met.
waiting for the other shoe to drop. Totally.
And then it happens. Like it happened to Rochelle.
Right.
Like that is awful.
And so while they're looking at Rochelle, she's like, don't look at me, but I have some aggressive exes that you should maybe look into about this.
Yes.
And one in particular has been sending her recently very harassing, antagonistic, stalky messages.
Like, what is wrong with people?
Because this guy has been stalking her.
Yes.
So he hasn't even met Dr. Saunier.
Right.
But she is telling the cops, and she's like, look, now I thought, me and Joseph were kind of even laughing about it, but now that he has been murdered, I have to tell you some things that I knew were red flags. But she's like, I feel like I've been followed to the gym.
This is kind of important. Like, outside the gym, she sees a guy, like a big, weird-looking guy in a car that's like looking at her. And then her and Dr. Saunier were like having wine one night.
They're drinking wine in the kitchen, and they see a flash.
It's dark outside, and Joseph and I both saw a flash from the outside. We laughed and kind of joked about, maybe somebody was following us.
Shortly after that, Dr. Saunier has locks put on the gate. He has his locks changed.
They were laughing, but a little bit like, yeah.
Like just in case, let's change the locks in case or
having
whatever.
the locks changed is like no small thing.
No,
like, that's
it's not.
Like they must have been worried enough that they're like, let's take extra precautions.
Now, there's also a letter from air quotes Tina.
Yeah.
Who's Joseph's ex.
Yeah.
And Tina wrote a letter to Michelle. Now, this letter looks like a 10-year-old boy trying his hardest to write in the prettiest script. They think it's fake. I would agree.
Yeah.
It looks ridiculous. But the letter was sent to Rochelle saying, hi, my name's Tina, and Joseph is cheating on you with me.
Yes.
And he's paying me for sex. All these horrible things to try to ruin this relationship. And Rochelle's like, have you seen me?
I know. Right.
Our relationships, I was fine at the tailgate.
Yeah.
Don't you worry about me.
Don't worry about
Tina.
me.
Also, this is fake.
It's also just like, I will never understand why people have to do stuff like this.
I don't either.
You know what I mean? And also, if you're in the relationship, if you're Rochelle or Dr. Saunier and you're dealing with this stuff, it must just be like, why?
Yeah, but the good thing, like, it didn't work.
Yes.
Because she was like, you're not cheating on me, right? And he's like, of course not.
Exactly.
And she's like, I believe you. This is a healthy relationship. Like, the whole goal is that these people can poison you from a million miles away.
Yes.
And relationships that are good for a time or whatever are just kind of like, yeah, this is weird and stressful and annoying, but it's not doing what the person wants it to do.
Exactly.
It's definitely causing stress.
Yes.
But it's not ruining their relationship, which is always the goal.
Exactly. And so we also learn about a guy named Dr. Thomas Michael Dixon. Right. So I'm a little unclear on the timeline here. He was a recent ex of Rochelle's.
He's a plastic surgeon in Amarillo.
Hello, I'm Dr. Mike Dixon.
He's well known, married, successful, a wealthy doctor, and they meet when Rochelle's a patient.
He had a med spa in Amarillo, and I went there to get Botox injections.
What attracted you to him?
He was funny, he was very witty, and he was enjoyable.
He was witty and funny and made it enjoyable. And honestly, if you can have a good time when somebody's shoving a needle in your face, like maybe this is somebody you want to get to know better.
Right. Now, we got to slow down on this.
Yes.
Rochelle is dating Dr. Dixon for a year. Dr. Dixon is married.
Yes.
Rochelle knows this. They are dating for a year, and this relationship, like, his wife gets wind of it, and she leaves him.
Yes.
The doctor's wife leaves the doctor because of this relationship he's having with
And
Rochelle.
you know what? Good on you, wife. Half of what's his is yours. Get out of there.
Like,
have a second act.
No one has time to put up for that. And it's
No.
kind of like, Rochelle, you knew he was married, and you were dating him for a year, and it just feels like a year?
I know.
A year? Like, not cool, Rochelle.
It's
not okay.
It's not okay. Now, what we don't know is whatever conversations were happening between Dr. Dixon and his wife. Maybe who knows?
I don't know, but she filed for divorce. I
Yes.
get the sense that Rochelle wasn't the only person he was cheating with.
Sure.
And that the wife finally realized what was happening or finally got her ducks in a row and she was able to leave, and that's what happened.
Yes. Well, I hope that wife is out there somewhere living her best life, being happy. But Rochelle tells us that Dr. Dixon knew about Dr. Joseph and had referred to him by name in several text messages and was texting her because he's trying to get her back.
So I'm like, we got to talk to this Dixon guy.
We do. What we're going to learn is that, like, the crossover, like, I think she was, like, dating Dr. Dixon and Dr. Joseph kind of at the same time.
And it kind of sounds to me, I'm speculating wildly, and I apologize for this, but it kind of seems like there was a conversation that maybe resembled something a little bit like, well, I'm dating this guy, and if you don't leave your wife, I'm not going to stop seeing him.
Yeah.
Because we learn that, like, right after the divorce, and I guess the Dixon guy, this Dr. Dixon guy didn't say, like, okay, let's get married forever, because they never fucking do.
Right.
She was like, she immediately starts dating Joseph, or she gets in a more serious relationship with Dr. Joseph. And I think maybe
that's so interesting.
Based on what we've learned, I think she loved Dr. Joseph Saunier. But I think she was also kind of using that to rile Dr. Dixon, based on what we've learned.
And there's more to learn on that front, too. So we'll get there in a second. So Detective Zach goes and knocks on Dr. Dixon's door.
He's like, it's 2 a.m, but fuck that.
Well, and we hear there's a recording of this conversation from the body cam, and Dr. Dixon sounds very annoyed.
He's like, I don't know anything about Joseph Saunier. I haven't spoken to Rochelle in months and months, but what he says is, he only says him and her. I don't know anything about him. I haven't spoken to her in months. He's not saying their names at all.
Right. But we also know that that's not true.
Yeah, it's
that,
a lie.
like, we You're right.
The bad guy's lying, everyone. Welcome.
When you're right, GP.
Because then these idiots just keep talking. Mike Dixon tells the cops how much he really loved Rochelle. Really. I was head over heels. I made a lot of life changes for her.
Meaning his wife left him. Nobody made life changes. Your ex-wife made life changes.
He even wants credit for that.
Right.
Men are the worst.
But he tells us that his relationship with... I want this story to be true.
Dixon says their relationship ended a while back, probably because he didn't give her a diamond ring and propose on her birthday. Instead, he'd given her a subscription to a Tea of the Month club.
And she went ballistic.
He got her a Tea of the Month club, and she went ballistic. Now... Lucky for all of us, Rochelle is here.
She's here.
And she goes, look, it wasn't about the tea. Tea is lovely. I don't drink it, but whatever. Okay? She's mad.
Who do you believe?
Rochelle.
You do?
Yes.
Okay. I mean, if you're expecting a diamond ring and you get a Tea of the Month club.
And she doesn't really, it's like, what, don't you know me at all? I don't even drink tea.
Totally.
It's that's what she's saying. She's like, I don't care. Like, that's not it. It's that he got me some stupid bullshit present that he doesn't even know me or like me, probably. What did I do all this for?
I think both things can be true. Your point about his wife left him and he didn't immediately propose to her is very smart. I hadn't thought of that, which is why she probably started dating Dr. Joseph, like you said.
I'm not letting Rochelle off the hook for dating a man who was married and that was causing strife in his marriage.
Yeah, I just think it's interesting that there is some truth to the wife is gone. Why aren't you proposing to me now?
A little bit is what I'm just gathering from my little Columbo.
But she was not happy about the Tea of the Month club.
And she's like, it's not just the Tea of the Month club. It's not just that. It's that he didn't even wish me a happy birthday in person.
Yeah.
And I'm like, but when was your birthday? Maybe he couldn't get away because he's still married, or maybe there are kids. Like, you can't always. It just seems a little bit like.
Yeah, when you're at that stage in life and you're on your second big relationship and there are other people's kids and spouses involved.
It's just very messy because Rochelle says, this story is coming from Rochelle. Rochelle says, we worked through the tea debacle. We worked through Tea Gate.
Tea of the Month gate.
And so let's plan a trip, blah, blah, blah. The next day she's like, hey, sorry, I'm in love with my dance partner.
Okay.
Whatever now. And I was like, really?
The day after the weekend getaway, Rochelle says, never mind, I'm in love with my dance partner.
Because
this is messy.
He didn't take the time to propose on the weekend getaway. So she's like, all right, I didn't get the ring for my birthday, but maybe he'll propose on this romantic getaway.
And don't use Dr. Sonye either. So this is messy, Rochelle.
Yes.
And you got to own it a little. And I don't hear any of the messiness coming through with Rochelle. She's more incensed about the Tea of the Month club.
I will also just say that Rochelle, when asked if she was expecting Dr. Sonye to propose, she's like, I didn't really care about that. I wanted to. So I don't want to put it on her like all she cared about was getting married and having a diamond ring.
I don't care about her feelings about getting married.
Yeah.
I just feel like she was dating this guy who was married, and it's messy. And it feels like she's kind of using her relationship with Dr. Sonye, who, according to everyone else we spoke to, like his family, he was super into her.
Right.
He took her to California to meet his grandkids. He took her to this family tradition that he has with his sons every year.
Yeah.
She was really involved in the family, and now I'm hearing that she's like, no, I'm in love with she's kind of using his affection for her in this other messy relationship.
I just got lost in the fact that he's 48 and has 3 grown sons.
He has grandkids.
I'm 45 and I have a 10-year-old.
Yeah.
What did I do wrong, GB?
Nothing. Nope, we don't do that. We're not comparing
I nailed it. I did it right?
No, we're not doing that.
Oh, great.
You're doing great.
Oh, thank you so much.
No problem.
Oh, God, you're the best.
Thank you. But Dr. Dixon now, he's like, fine. Now he's dating 19-year-old Ashley.
Yeah.
Several decades his junior, we learn, and I quote, she's a medical student, and she is his alibi.
Yeah, we see one video of them somewhere.
Eating sushi.
She looks like a hostage. She looks so nervous and so much like she does not want to be wherever they are together.
Yeah.
It also looks like counter service sushi.
This Dixon guy, it's all in the name. He's a dick.
Yeah.
I don't like him. I find he's probably very aggressive. He's someone who really wants to see and be seen. And I think he's a loudmouth blowhard.
Yeah.
And I'm sure he, manipulated 19-year-old Ashley, med student who might be working with him. I don't know.
Oh,
I think he strong-armed her to made her all these promises.
But you remember that surveillance video that we saw? She looks like a hostage.
She looks not thrilled.
Yeah.
For sure.
Not happy to be there.
But everyone's alibi checks out.
Ashley Wolbert is his alibi for the night of the murder. They were out eating sushi in Amarillo.
Dr. Dixon's sushi alibi checks out, and Rochelle's alibi, and Sonye's ex-girlfriend's. So Detective Johnson is kind of starting from scratch again.
And now we're back to square one at a total dead end with no suspects.
Right, because it's like Dr. Dixon's alibi checks out, Rochelle's alibi checks out, like all of her ex's alibis check out.
And then suddenly, ring, 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 it's Paul Reynolds on the line. Paul Reynolds, who we're just meeting.
He's a down on his luck nurse, we find out.
He calls the police with some very valuable information.
I want to get to that in 1 second. Can I just say one thing? They describe him as kind of like a loser, like a down and out on his luck nurse. Being a nurse is so hard.
Yes.
Like getting a nursing job, getting through nursing school, this man is a fucking hero.
Of course.
In more than one way.
And has a conscience.
Totally. Like, I just wanted to, I don't want it to go unsaid that you can't be a loser and a nurse.
No.
You know what I mean?
Unless you're that nurse that was killing people in that
That's
documentary.
true. The one example.
Then you're an evil nurse.
Yes, that's right.
I met a nurse who was really mean to me.
Okay, but
not all nurses.
Look, and I'm sorry that happened, and that is shitty, and that shouldn't happen.
But
that really, but that nurse worked really hard to get their degree. Like it's hard to be a nurse.
I get it.
Yeah, they did a bad thing. I don't like that.
This
nurse
was
made
like
you cry.
a year ago too. Not even when I was
honey?
a kid. It was horrible. I came home crying.
Why?
They were really mean to me.
Well, tell us what they did.
They just I don't want to get into it. They were just mean to me.
Okay.
And I've never went back. I've changed doctors.
Wow.
I'm not going to be treated that way. So,
okay, great. Nope.
Paul is a registered nurse. As they say, he's, quote, down on his luck.
Yeah.
Now, because Paul calls the cops and he's like, I got to tell you the story.
I love how you're saying his name.
Paul Reynolds?
Paul. It's Paul.
Paul's like, ring, ring, the cop's great.
Yeah.
I have to tell you about something.
Paul, is this the cop's great?
Great. Okay, amazing. It's 911? Okay, perfect. Or it's a non-emergency line, but I think it's an emergency. I don't know. So Paul's like, I'm a registered nurse, and my friend Dave Shepard is letting me crash on his couch.
Yeah.
Now, Dave Shepard, out of the clear blue skies, starts talking to Paul and says...
He says Shepard is spinning some wild stories about killing a man in Lubbock. Now, Reynolds is pretty sure he's making it up, but then he Googles murders in Lubbock, and the murder is real.
Paul's also like, you're just being a dick. That didn't really happen. Goog. Oh my God, you actually killed somebody in Texas.
Now, Dave Shepard is unemployed, divorced, and has a record. He's a, quote, convicted thief. Now, it sounds like Paul should be helping him.
Yeah, 100%.
I don't know how they know each other or what, but if Paul were here, it would say former friend of Dave Shepard.
Totally.
Okay. Now, and this Dave Shepard guy is friends with Dr. Dixon. They met over cigars and martinis at some hot spot in Amarillo. So, okay.
I just want to say, this guy did this.
Yes. So the bad guys here are Dave Shepard and Mike Dixon.
Yeah, Paul the nurse, great guy.
He made a perfect phone call, and now bye, Paul.
How stupid do you have to be a hitman, and then you're going to tell your friend about it?
Dave's pretty dumb. We meet him, and also his daughters, Haley, Abigail, and Rachel are here, and they hate him.
Yeah.
So, because they're like, oh, our dad worshipped that Mike Dixon guy. It's so annoying.
I gotta say, so this guy, Dave Shepard, like the loser with the amazing daughters, the thing that I couldn't get out of my brain is that he raised them, and they're amazing.
They're amazing. They are amazing in spite of him.
Yeah.
Despite.
Okay, let's go with that, because I'm kind of like,
not because of, but in spite of.
Because he's like this Dave Shepard guy is a bad guy, but he's got great kids.
And they're all, you know why? Because they are like, their eyes are open and they're seeing reality for what it is. Like, they're not trying to be like, well, my dad. No. Their dad is trash and evil, and they know it. So they're like, this Mike Dixon obsession, like, it was so annoying.
Dad was definitely obsessed with Mike. Like,
really?
He had a big man crush on Mike.
So what did your dad see in him?
His money and his success.
Dad wanted to be Mike.
My dad wanted to be Mike.
It was the money. Like, it was like, the daughters later are going to say, like, our dad never had any money ever. And so, like, this plastic surgeon is paying attention to him.
But Mike is that blowhard guy who's just full of shit.
Yeah.
So he's like,
he sees Mr. Shepard as an easy mark. I need something done. This loser's going to do it for me.
But also, I need someone to think I'm awesome.
Yeah.
Dave is he's a heel. Perfect.
Is he a
perfect
herb?
heel. He's a herb, like, evil monster. So Dave Shepard and Dr. Mike Dixon, I'm saying doctor to kind of differentiate here, right? Come up with a plan. Mike Dixon is obsessed with Rochelle and wants her back.
Yeah.
He ended his marriage for her. Now she's in love with her dance partner. This cannot stand.
Yeah. Yes. And I'm going to tell you, Dave Shepard, the killer, he tells the cops everything.
We see him tell it.
He folds in 30 seconds.
30 seconds.
I absolutely did this. And he says it started small. All we wanted to do was, quote, get a child gay porn subscription and send it to Dr. Sonier's office. This idiot thinks you can walk into a gay bookstore where my bookstore is displayed prominently, I hope, and buy a subscription to, quote, the Man-Boy Love Association and just send it to the doctor's office.
Now, he's talking about child sexual abuse images because there is no child gay porn, number one.
Oh my God,
it's child sexual abuse images. But now, the Man-Boy Love Association is a real thing.
It is true.
It's called NAMBLA. It's the North American Man-Boy Love Association. It's fucking disgusting.
It's horrendous and disgusting. And like, you almost can't believe it's real because
I don't know how it's allowed to be real. I hate it so much.
Yeah.
If you want to, just make sure you have a shower available for you.
Don't spend any time looking this up.
The fucking
it's
worst.
Horrible.
But like, these books don't exist in bookstores, you fucking idiots.
Yeah.
Like, thank God. So that plan didn't work, you sick fucks. And so the point
How
is
do you feel about that?
I hate that. And the fact that their mind goes to that and that they think that this is readily available to them.
But that's what I'm talking about. Like, how stupid do you have to be to think that you could even walk into an adult gay bookstore and buy like child sexual abuse images?
Right. Like, no. That's impossible. But they get worse.
I know.
Like, more stupid. So the point is, they want to ruin Dr. Sonier's reputation, which is very hinged and very mature.
Yeah.
So in addition, their stupid fucking NAMBLA thing didn't work. So thank God it didn't.
I just can't believe that's real. I can't believe it's a real thing.
It's hard. I don't know, like...
I know.
We did it, Joe. No, we didn't.
No.
Can someone get somebody on the phone and just end NAMBLA? Like,
I know.
Is it that fucking hard? You don't even want to know that there are some very familiar names who've defended NAMBLA. And
like
you don't even
who?
want to know.
Judith Light. I'm just kidding.
Can you imagine? I think like... some people see it as like a freedom of speech issue.
No,
I'm not even getting into it.
Fuck them.
So the other thing they want, they're like, oh no, we can't get these child sex abuse materials. Like they're disappointed in that. So they're like, oh, let's hire a stripper.
Ridiculous schemes to humiliate Sonier. Hiring a stripper to pretend she's Sonier's girlfriend. So Rochelle will think he's two-timing her.
None of it works. And Dixon starts talking about a different plan.
So remember that stupid letter from, quote, Tina? It's all them.
Exactly.
It's them.
Yeah.
So none of it ever happens. They're all just ideas at cigars and martinis.
I mean, so gross. So then Dr. Dixon is like, listen, Shepard, you're going to have to stalk him. I don't know what to tell you. You're going to have to stalk him.
He needs to do something, quote, physical.
Yes.
Because even though they sent the letter from Tina... Which, like, a stripper wouldn't write like that. I'm sorry. The handwriting, I feel like all strippers have really cute handwriting.
This is also not 1984. She would have sent an email or a fucking handwritten letter.
Handwritten letter.
You know what I mean?
But it's not breaking them up,
right.
Is the point. Dave Shepard starts stalking Dr. Sonier and Rochelle. He starts taking their dance class.
So remember how in the beginning we were talking about how, like, she saw the stalker outside of the gym? Like, this is real. She really did see them.
But also, this loser is driving 2 hours each way every single day to stalk his friend's ex.
Yeah.
Get a life, you loser.
But then texting Dr. Dixon about it, which becomes important later.
Yes. So everything, Rochelle's gut was absolutely right. She was being watched. She was being stalked. There was a creep in the dance class. And it's Dave Shepard.
Yes. Remember that flash they saw outside of his house?
Yes.
It was him taking a picture, and the flash made it so that he took an accidental selfie.
Right. In the glare of the window. This is who we're dealing with here. And they're
the
also
look of disappointment.
like idiots. But they're also like looking for dirt. There's no dirt to be had.
No.
They're just in a relationship and it's fine and you can't break them up no matter how many fake stripper letters you send. Like, grow up. So after hours and hours of being interrogated, this loser, Dave Shepard, tells the cops everything.
Everything.
He's like, Mike Dixon was at the end of his rope. He wanted something really bad to happen to these two people. Nothing was working, so he had to make it happen.
Yeah.
And Dave Shepard explains the horrible thing he did to Dr. Sonier.
He walks us through the events that led to Dr. Sonier's murder. So it's July 10th, 2012. It's Shepard's final trip to Lubbock. Remember, he's been like going back and forth every day stalking these two.
2 hours each way, you loser.
Idiot. He sneaks into the doctor's backyard.
He's got a gun and a knife, and he hides, and he waits. Sonier comes home, makes himself a drink, and suddenly, Shepard is at the back window.
I pull the gun out of the bag with the Gatorade on it. I point the weapon with the bottle at him. Discharged several times.
After 3 or 4 shots, Dr. Sonier is still alive. He's backing away. He stumbles out into the room. Shepard follows him into the garage where he stabs him 11 times.
And so the killer confesses to murder, tells him exactly how they did it. And if that's not enough, they have his DNA because he's an absolute idiot. He drank the entire bottle of Gatorade before using it as a silencer. So his DNA is everywhere. Like, all kinds of DNA is everywhere.
And, like, does it work as a silencer?
I don't know. It's a slam dunk either way in terms of a case to prosecute this, right? DA Matt Powell offers him a deal. He's like, look,
if he'll rat out his good friend Dixon, then he'll only get a life sentence instead of a death sentence. And he's got to know, Texas carries out those death sentences.
Look, this is Texas, so we will actually kill you.
Yes.
So that's actually what he says.
He literally says that in the episode.
So
on Old Sparky, like, nobody wants to die that way. Just ask Ted Bundy.
Yeah, and like, that's the deal.
Yeah.
The deal is that I'll give you life in prison because we're in Texas and the death penalty, we will actually kill you.
We will kill you.
You're not just going to sit on death row for however many years.
And like, this fucking moron did not imagine. What did you think was going to happen?
He didn't think that far ahead.
I guess
and
not.
I'm sure his good friend Mikey Dixon had all this grand plan about how they're going to get away with it. And Dave Shepard's an idiot and just believed it. I'm sure
Dazzled by the martinis and cigars.
I'm sure Mike Dixon had this whole story about how perfect it was all going to be. I mean, that's the only way he would do this. So the killer has pled guilty to murder and says that Mike Dixon hired him to do it. Now, Dallas, the son, is back, and he's pissed. And he goes,
I love what he says
He goes, a low-life scum and a piece of shit doctor. Let's go fucking get these guys. And I'm like, let's go.
I know. But now we also meet Andrew Dixon, which is Mike Dixon's son. So Mike Dixon is like the quote mastermind here. And I guess we got to humanize him for 2 minutes by getting an interview with his son. He's like, there's absolutely no way my dad could have done this. He was an amazing dad. He took me fishing once. And he said, like, he's fighting for his life. This is terrifying and so sickening.
Okay, so anyway.
So he's the opposite of Dave Shepard's daughters who are here to do the right thing. The actual Triggerman's daughters who are like, my dad fucking did it and he's a piece of shit. Yeah.
So DA Matt Powell says that Dave Shepard, the killer, was the perfect patsy.
Yes.
Because Mike Dixon was obsessed with Rochelle. Dave Shepard was a dummy in love with Mike Dixon. And here we are.
Totally.
Like, they were all in, it was like a love triangle, only the killer wanted to be Mike Dixon.
Right, like Shepard wasn't like romantically in love with him. He just was dazzled
enamored.
by him.
Like,
exactly. He wanted his life.
Oh my God.
So they got to go through the evidence of like, what does the prosecution actually have? Because a lot of it is the confession and like circumstantial evidence. They say they've got the gun that Shepard used. They found it in a lake right behind Dixon's office, and it was registered to Dixon's brother.
I mean, come on.
I know. I also love too when we get the archival, like we see them actually going into the lake to get the gun.
They're like, is it this one?
I know.
It says property of Mike Dixon's brother. Is
it
this
also
anything?
looks like they made some attempt to scratch off the serial number, but then just gave up after 1 minute.
Stupid.
But the big thing that they have are the text messages between Dixon and Shepard. So remember, Dixon sent the guy to Lubbock to stalk the couple, and Shepard is just like texting him all day long, being like, here's everything you wanted to know about what they're doing.
And saying, but Dixon's also saying to Shepard, you have to stay close, watch them in the morning. He's giving him instructions.
Yeah.
And then the killer is actually doing it.
But because Dixon knows that they've got him on the text messages, when they come to arrest him.
When he was arrested, the SWAT guys told me he had actually jumped into a swimming pool and tried to ruin the phone. The problem was the man had plugged the phone in and backed it up to his computer. So all of the stuff that he thought was not going to get him in trouble was backed up to his computer.
What would the explanation be for why you jumped into the pool with your clothes on?
One last time. I just want to swim one last time. Just want to feel that
cool
chemical-filled chlorine water in my hair one last time. And also in the confession,
I just would love them to make this into a movie just for that one scene,
like
of him, like John Goodman jumping into the pool.
This is it. Poor John Goodman. He's so nice. He lives in New Orleans, and my aunt and uncle who live down there, like my aunt's like, I see him at the bank all the time. He's like a normal guy.
Right?
He's like a good, like salt of the earth guy, John Goodman, right?
Not defending Nambla.
Like, no. No. So in the killer's confession, he tells the cops what Mike Dixon paid him.
This is amazing.
A box of Cuban cigars and 3 silver bars. I'm like, what is this? Traders Australia?
I know.
Silver bars?
Silver bars. And like this idiot Shepard probably thought they were worth hundreds of thousands of dollars.
$9,000.
$9,000.
They find the silver bars at a pawn shop.
Like
$9,000.
Silver bars. It doesn't make any
sense. That's what they pay you in Traders Australia. It makes no sense.
Oh, is that right?
Silver
bars.
Mean,
I guess the idea is that maybe they're not trackable. You know what I mean?
Well, they are, because we found them at the pawn shop.
We found them at the pawn shop like in 10 minutes.
Like, what? So, but the defense, of course, has an answer for everything.
Yeah, of course.
Right?
And they're so smug about it.
Yeah. The gun, Dave Shepard stole it from Mike Dixon. It wasn't given to him.
Right.
The stalking, it was only to get photos of Dr. Sonye out with other women. And I'm like, right, so that he can show them to Rochelle so she'll dump him? Like, what are you talking? Like, how is that a decent defense? Oh, no, we were only trying to, prove he was cheating. One, he wasn't cheating.
Right.
And two, why?
And then why are you taking pictures at Sonye's house? That's the main relationship.
You're not a licensed PI, are you?
Right, exactly.
No. Move along. Then they say Rochelle was flaunting the relationship. She wasn't flaunting anything. And even if she was, it doesn't matter.
Exactly.
Mike Dixon was blocked on all of her socials. Let her live her life.
Yeah, and they go back to the silver bars, the defense attorneys, to say
The defense says Dixon wasn't paying for a hit. It was for an investment they had together, an allergy testing business.
Like he's going to go into business with that fucking Shepard guy.
We already have Claritin and Benadryl. We're upset.
We're good.
Enough. It's bullshit.
We don't need anything else. We're fine.
Oh, no, those silver bars.
I know.
Currency that fucking nobody uses unless you're Traders Australia.
I didn't even know they made silver bars. I thought it was just gold bars.
Oh, yeah. I'm just using those silver bars
I know.
For an investment.
Yeah.
How are you going to invest? What are you going to go to the bank? I have $9,000 in silver bars. Can you? It just makes nobody thinks a centimeter ahead.
I know.
So now it's like he said, she said in the trial. And Dave Shepard, the killer, says Mike Dixon absolutely wanted them killed.
Yes.
And Dave Shepard, the killer, apparently says to Mike Dixon, are you sure? Because look, if I kill these people for you, you're going to have nightmares for the rest of your life. And I'm like, Dave, are you going to have any nightmares?
I know.
Are you seriously coddling Mike Dixon right now?
Dave not only doesn't have a brain, he also doesn't have a soul.
No.
You know?
And his daughters know it because his daughters know he did this and they are in court to support the Sonye family.
And I was wondering what that dynamic was like.
And they're young women.
They are young.
They're not, they're, in their 20s.
I mean, one of them might even still be a teenager.
So they see this for exactly what it is. And it's just we so rarely see this.
Yes, that's true. Where the daughters aren't just blindly defending the dad.
They just had a shitty week where they kind of realize, oh, this is who our dad is. And then they it helps you heal and move on and accept what this person is if you just sort of acknowledge it. And now you're on the right side of history and the right side of the courtroom.
Which is why I keep saying this piece of shit guy raised these three amazing young women. You know what I mean?
I know.
He must have done something right somewhere along the way.
I mean, it happens all the time. The opposite. You have great parents and then someone's a serial killer.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
It happens all the time.
Yeah, you're right. So Shepard, the trigger man, is going to take the stand, and he's here to tell the story, to testify against Mike Dixon.
And implicate Mike Dixon and basically say everything he confessed to.
Correct.
This is a slam dunk. The lawyers can't wait.
Yep.
This is it. It's going to be over in 10 minutes before lunch.
Yeah.
It's going to be great.
Except
that doesn't happen.
No.
He can't do this to his beloved, I guess.
On the stand, Shepard does a complete 180.
You begin to question what happens.
Well, he completely digressed from what his statement was to law enforcement in the fact that Mike Dixon didn't have any involvement in this deal.
Shepard says he acted alone. He completely blindsides the prosecutor.
He completely blindsides the prosecutor by saying he acted alone.
And now the lawyers hate him even more. His daughters hate him even more.
Dallas says, in that moment, I've never hated anyone more than I hated him in my entire life.
And the daughters even go to the prison to yell at him about it.
And we see the video cam of it. We see them begging him to tell the truth.
And then they tell 2020, they're like, it was like we were talking to a child.
Yes.
It was like I was scolding a child saying, why didn't you do what we agreed you were going to do, which is tell the truth. Now, 2020 goes and asks him the same questions.
Yeah.
Why
he
did you
comes
do
to
this?
sit down. He looks so awkward. He's handcuffed. I know.
So he goes, you know what? I embellished. I felt like that's what I had to do. I had this great deal. What he's saying is, what I said on the stand was the truth.
Right.
I lied to the cops to get the death penalty off the table, and then I came clean on the stand. I don't buy this for a second.
I don't necessarily buy it, but it makes some kind of sense. What would he be getting out of lying for Mike Dixon? Is Mike Dixon promising him something on the side?
Probably.
I mean, maybe.
This Mike Dixon guy seems to be very influential, especially in the world of the killer. So who knows?
I will say the killer does say, before I sat down and spilled my guts, I had a deal in place with the DA that I had to do that.
I wonder if this piece of shit Dixon like threatened his daughters or something.
Right.
Like, you don't know what it was said to him.
We don't have enough information other than to say like this guy's a fucking liar and the trigger man, so whatever. But like, and like even if Mike Dixon didn't say like kill the guy, it was probably implied, or it was like, you know what I like actually would be like amazing.
Yeah.
But even if you're just hiring him to stalk them, whatever.
It's bad.
It's all bad.
So the jury deadlocks, it's a mistrial, and Mike Dixon is free to go.
Yeah, the mastermind.
But the killer is still in prison.
Yes, exactly.
So, which is like, works out pretty great for the person he's obsessed with, Mike Dixon. You know what I mean? Like,
totally.
This guy's still, like, he's still a killer.
Yep.
And so Mike Dixon gets to walk, and I'm sure, like, his daughter, he feels like his daughters are safe. I don't know. I'm just saying.
Well, 2015, 3 years later, the case goes back to trial with a new jury.
And they're obviously not calling Dave Shepard to testify.
And one of our analysts here says,
a retrial is a nightmare as a prosecutor. You know, you were going to hear the defense lawyer pick through every single inconsistency from what somebody said in a trial from 2 years before. And there's an analogy that prosecutors use. It's like putting on a cold, wet bathing suit.
They say it's like putting on a cold, wet bathing suit. And I was like, oh, I could feel that to my soul.
The worst.
A cold, wet bathing suit.
If you're getting out of the pool or the ocean and you have to pee, it's a new bathing suit time. Or you're done swimming.
Yeah. Totally.
Because there's no way you're going into like a tile bathroom.
No. Yeah. Oh, no. Yeah.
And then putting it back on.
The worst is like if you like were swimming yesterday and you put it out like overnight, but it didn't dry all the way, and now it's like the morning and you're going to walk down to the beach, it's still cold. No.
That's why you pack more than one thing.
Exactly. Totally.
So, but here's the thing. So the killer's not going to be called to the stand, but one of his daughters, Haley, takes the stand.
Yes.
And the three daughters are together in this 2020 interview. And they say, like, this was very obvious to us because after the murder, our dad suddenly had money. Like, he never had money, and now he's buying us phones. He has a new grill for the backyard.
Took them out to a fancy steak dinner.
And when asked about the money, because these daughters are smart, he goes, oh, I did some work for Mike Dixon and he paid me early, and stop asking. And they're like, okay, red flags. But Mike Dixon takes the stand this time.
He wants to take the stand in his own defense. And I got to tell you, the jurors are here and they say this.
Now, we don't know the verdict yet, but we're already talking to the jurors.
Yes. They're like, the jurors are like, he sealed his own fate. He was.
They hated him.
Yeah, he was the worst witness. One of them says the longer he was on the stand, the harder it was for me to believe him. He had an ego that was larger than life.
Yeah.
Anytime he started talking about if something was morally right or wrong, I knew I couldn't believe what he was testifying to.
Yeah.
Like, this is why you don't take the stand in your own defense.
If you're an asshole like Mike Dixon.
Yes.
So it takes the jury 3 hours to find him guilty on
Finally.
2 counts of capital murder. And I'm like, it's all over, right? Wrong.
Wrong.
So his lawyer appeals and the conviction is thrown out, quote, based on procedural grounds. Like, and Mike Dixon is outliving his life in Amarillo. But the judge orders a third trial. And the DA is like, I can't do this a third time.
I know.
A third retrial is like putting on a sandy cold, wet bathing suit. So in the case of Mike Dixon, they want to go another way. The DA takes it directly to an even higher court. And as a prosecutor, I've never even seen this happen before. The Texas Court of Criminal Appeals settles it, and it is a bombshell. Dixon's guilty verdict is reinstated, and once again, once and for all, he is guilty of murder for hire.
And so 8 years after the murder, the Texas Court of Criminal Appeals reinstates the guilty verdict.
Yes.
He gets a life sentence, no parole.
Once and for all. They say it can't go any higher.
And he's guilty of murder for hire for the death of Dr. Joseph Sonnier.
Yeah.
And so both Dave Shepard and Mike Dixon are serving life without parole in maximum security prison.
And it ends with a monologue from Rochelle talking about psychopaths and sociopaths sitting at your dinner table.
Oh, hard agree. Because she's like, these people are everywhere.
Yeah.
Sociopaths are everywhere. They might be at your dinner table. They can't feel empathy. They will destroy you. You might be going out on a date with one tomorrow night. If you know a person like this, run.
Run
and
as
I'm like,
fast as you can.
Hard agree,
Yeah,
Rochelle.
hard agree.
Run. Me shaved hole in the door. Goodbye.
Oh my God, girl, we did. What's it called?
It's episode of 2020 is called This Is Revenge.
Oh my God. Fam, just a quick reminder, anybody on the Patreon at the $5 level or higher, on April 27th, just a couple days from now, we're doing our next drag bingo with the amazing Schwa. If you haven't been to drag bingo, you gotta come. It is so fun.
We all make the playlist together.
Yeah.
The chat is on fire. The prizes are great. Schwa is an icon and just excellent at hosting this.
So
it's so much fun. We play a lot of bingo games because sometimes they go faster than we think.
And then Schwa will give you a tip on how you can get like a secret second bingo card. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah, it's like you hit refresh or something. But it's really, really great, and we all have a lot of fun.
So that's on April 27th, and then the next mixology class is May 6th. This is not at 7 p.m. This is not a boring mixology class. It's super fun. Jillian and I are in person with Cam, the bartender. She's making like TCO-themed cocktails. She's doing a whole new slate for spring and summer.
Yep.
It's going to be so great.
It's going to be, and Cam is running the show, so we're just going to be very pleasantly surprised with what Cam has created.
It's so fun. So patreon.com/truecrimeobsessed, or go to the website, click on the Patreon link. It's where you get all the extra bonus episodes too. Like we're doing Twin Flames.
Yeah.
Quiet on the Set. We did the Cult of Mother God. Love Has Won.
Mm-hmm. Natalia Grace, both seasons. Lost Women of Highway 20.
So much stuff over there. Girl, what are we doing next?
All right. So next up, Desperately Seeking Soulmate, Escaping Twin Flames Universe starts on Patreon tomorrow.
Oh my God. It is insane.
Can I Tell You a Secret is on the regular feed next week. And then you'll get another bonus episode in like 2 weeks. Yeah. Call it about 2 weeks. Something like that. Same time, same place.
So excited.
All right. We love you.
We love you, fam.
Bye.
Bye.
A nightmare figure infiltrated their lives. This was the biggest stalking case I'd ever seen.
Wait till I really get going.
Hundreds of victims.
Women, girls, family members.
Too many to comprehend.
I'm gonna come and get you.
They take over your identity.
Like a shapeshifter, this stalker seems to know everything.
What's up? And guess what? Not saying who I am, but you've an idea.
What are they going to do next?
They're going to hurt you. It's terrifying.
Unsafe. Watched. Like prey.
Will you promise to keep it our secret?
I was ready to fight the battle of finding out who this stalker was.
Defend myself, fight my corner.
But they knew that they were winning.
They want to ruin Dr. Sonier's rip. They want to ruin Dr. Sonier's Sonia.
Yeah, watching your eyes try to dart to the right, trying to figure out how to say you went like this. Sonia. And you knew it was right, and then you went, Sonia.
You know why? Because I didn't write it phonetically. Usually I just write it phonetically because my brain is going way too fast.
That's the thing. We get so far ahead, and we cannot make our brain do the thing that our mouth wants to do.
Welcome to my life. Also, are you watching Sugar?
No.
With Colin Farrell and a dog named Wiley.
Is it good?
It's good. And Amy Ryan.
Oh, I love Amy Ryan.
She's amazing. It's very, there are only 3 episodes out, but it's like, and Kirby's in it. Do you know Kirby? Oh, she's amazing.
Okay.
She plays Ruby. Oh my God. I don't know if I can trust Ruby anymore. I don't know what's going on. There's a dog named Wiley. He's like the best dog actor I've ever seen. It's called Sugar.
Okay.
It's Colin Farrell in a suit.
Yeah. Oh, I love Colin.
Problem?
Yeah, what is it? You know, Colin Farrell has a gay brother who looks just like him.
Really?
Yes, it's pretty
That's
good.
interesting
It's
news.
pretty good. Are you
like Colin Farrell made the Penguin sexy? What are we doing? Like he's too much. So anyway,